Good evening and welcome to Trendz Live on SABC News Channel 404. I'm your host, Nkosazana Dambuza Makuba, hanging out with you until 9 p.m. while we chat and delve into the latest in entertainment news. So let's get right into it, and we kick off our bulletin with this tonight. South Africa's golden boy, Trevor Noah, has made history this week after walking away with an Emmy Award for the Best Variety Talk Show. It's the first time that an African has bagged the award in this category. The comedian is also nominated for a Grammy in the category of Best Album. Shine, Trevor, shine. And on to this now. It's only still January and getting to the gym may already prove daunting for many, right? But to ease your stress, here's an activity that might spark your interest. If you desire to stay mentally healthy and physically stronger, you see, flying or aerial yoga is a form of holistically exercising, most of the time elevated in the air. Yep, in the air. And the benefits are endless. Trendz visited the Equanimity Wellness Center in Sandown, Johannesburg to try this flying yoga. Let's find out what this really entails.
An environment full of color with attendees preparing their hammocks before training. You see, these silk cloths are an essential part of flying yoga. They help us explore postures and provide a support structure for the body's elevation. A first time at this expedition, I attempted getting onto a hammock for the embryo or cocoon position.
By defying gravity and having that elevation, there is the support of the hammock. Apart from that, there are many poses that encompass the feeling of being held and supported and nurtured the way a mother would hold their child. Do you remember being a kid and being able to climb trees?
Totally.
It's that feeling. That is the feeling we get when we practice aerial yoga. And what we invite students to connect to. The benefits, apart from physical, being decompression of the spine because gravity is pulling you downwards in an inverted manner, strengthening, which we then take from the hammock into our everyday lives.
Mel, what brought you to aerial yoga?
Well, I was struggling with anxiety and depression and just not being very in touch with my emotions and my thoughts and my feelings and my body. So I started doing yoga to create that mind-body awareness and to become more in touch with the real me and where I'm at in that moment in time, and to be a lot more forgiving to myself. And yoga has taught me to just meet myself where I'm at and to be a lot kinder to myself. It creates a flow. So for me, yoga ultimately feels like I'm dancing, and it creates an utter sense of freedom and release. And when I'm in that yoga space, especially in spaces that are non-judgmental, that are safe, that are brave spaces that allow you to be you, I really feel that release of creativity.
Mental challenges often adversely affect one's self-confidence. It's no wonder both young and old are thrilled by what this rehabilitating treat has to offer. As part of the creativity, certain poses are suitably named after their specific moves. This one is called monkey or upside down spider, which elongates the spine, and some more.
So I think the naming behind the monkey comes from when you hang upside down, you kind of look like a monkey. So if you think about the monkey swinging in the trees and then they're hanging upside down, I think that's where the name came from. So like upside down spider, as you think with a spider in a web. And also upside down froggy, loads of names, it's the same pose, same benefits. We're upright all day, every day. So flips upside down and then not only changes your perspective, but allows the spine to release. And other benefits, it helps with the hips because you can open the hips.
We invite a space of safety and courageousness to explore things you've never tried before. There is a release of mental and emotional tension. With that release, it helps alleviate stress and anxiety or just everyday pressures. And as we build the strength, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally, we get to take that out of the hammock, off of the mat, and into our everyday lives. We are so focused on creating an authentic connection to our community, to create a safe and brave space for a person to explore without feeling the pressures of comparison. So it is a safe space for you to explore movements and find out new things about yourself.
Mostly my favorites are inversions. I love inversions because they flip your perspective completely. We're not used to being upside down. We're not used to having blood flow to our brains as much as we do when we go into an inversion. So that fresh pump of oxygen, that fresh circulation of blood that goes straight to the brain creates so much mental clarity and just allows you to sit with yourself and feel in that moment all the things that you need to feel. The elongation of the spine is wonderful. The low impact on the joints coming from having the support of this beautiful silk. It makes it much more accessible to people with injuries, elderly people, because of the low impact that it has on the joints.
I've struggled with mental health my whole life, so for me aerial yoga really shifted that. Aerial yoga specifically helped me build confidence, build strength. It helped me sort out my back problems for a while. I was struggling going to the chiropractor twice a month.
After observing the more advanced girls demonstrating their skills, even my eagerness to attempt the monkey was aroused.
So, after trying aerial yoga myself, I feel a great sense of empowerment, a sense of achievement. My thoughts are much clearer, and oh, what an achievement realizing that I can try something that initially seemed daunting and have loads of fun with it. I'll definitely do this again. Love it.
Talk about flipping your perspective, right? Now, after the break, we have Bigstar Johnson and Stino Le Thwenny taking the stage, so don't go anywhere. Thanks for staying with us. Now, late last year, our producer Selepe Maifandi attended the Spotify Wrapped event that took place at One Fox Precinct in downtown Jozi. She caught up with some of the attendees and fans of hip-hop in South Africa. Here are their predictions for the music scene this year and a recap of their favorite releases of 2023. Let's take a look.
Is it safe for us to say that Amapiano has taken over the world? The widespread influence of the Yanos is undoubtedly felt throughout the globe. But where does that leave South African hip-hop?
SA hip-hop has always been growing, and with Amapiano I was very worried because it seemed like we have the likes of Latinova Pounds and Venom, all of them Aries, still keeping the culture up like Nasty C. So you get excited, you know those new music Fridays when you see those new artists. When it's hip-hop, my heart just does a backflip.
When Kenan Forbes, better known as Super Mega, passed away, he and the Megacy were counting down to the release of the much-anticipated album, Mass Country. Since the release, this posthumous project has reached multi-platinum status and racked multiple awards worldwide.
I think that's one of the saddest moments for SA, not being able to see him perform it live and see how we would put it on stage for us also. I think we were robbed of that moment as SA, but it is what it is, man. R.I.P. Super Mega.
Do you think South Africa did justice to celebrating 50 years of hip-hop?
Definitely, because our giants, Aries, Nasty, Casper, also Shane Eagle, they all pulled up with albums, so who's to say hip-hop is dying?
Hip-hop lovers have spotted the great musicality that South African artists have shown in the genre locally and globally, and even more excited about the tracks that will be released this year.
My fave currently is Nasty C. I feel like him having traveled, he has managed to diversify and bring us together, get more into the space. I believe SA Hip Hop has greater and bigger things for 2024.
There's going to be emergence of hip-hop again. I think we're going to get dope music and excited about it.
So, but Trendy, what's your take on this one? Hit us up on X on @Trendz on SABC and let's chat more about the vibes we want to catch from this sound this year.
Now, it was announced last week that as part of AKA's upcoming birthday celebrations from next Friday the 26th to Sunday the 28th, there will be a pop art and merchandise exhibition at the Mall of Africa. This limited showcase will offer exclusive artworks and merchandise that will pay tribute to the late icon. Now, after a couple of years under the radar, entrepreneur and rapper Bigstar Johnson is back with another banger following the success of the first single titled Look Around, which comes from his upcoming album Caesar. He now has a new album, or rather single, called Fede Show, featuring the bubbling duo Stino Le Thwenny. He is with us in studio to tell us more about what's next. Welcome to Trendz Live, Bigstar. How are you?
Good. I'm lovely. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's good to see you after the years of silence. Tell us, why were you silent?
Life, man, you know, life. I fully understand why any artist, some of my favorites would take some time. You know, I think I had to grow, I had to live, I had to experience, and I just felt like I needed to get the content that's in my album. And yeah, I guess now we're ready to give it. Absolutely.
And you came back as a person who's no longer a one-trick pony, so to speak. You know, you're multifaceted. I love that about you.
Thank you.
Why is it important to have a side hustle, so to speak, as a musician?
I think we live in an economy like where you need a side hustle as anything. You know, you could be a teacher, you could be a taxi driver, but you got to find a way to hustle. I think it's very important to diversify your portfolio in 2024. And for me, man, I think from COVID, I had to start thinking outside the box as to how I'm going to feed my kid. What can we do, you know? And yeah, I think the music school that I started has sustained me pretty well. You know, so diversify the portfolio. That's what's important.
I love and support that kind of mentality.
Thank you.
Big up to you.
Thank you.
Now, last year we celebrated 50 years of hip-hop. How did you celebrate this genre?
It's interesting. Last year was a year where I was wrapping up my album, and at the same time I was falling in love with the South African local sound, Wanswara. Even how I ended up in studio with Stino Le Thwenny and the Do It Boys is because they were creating the sound where I felt like, man, we need to not recreate, but redefine our sound, you know. So I think how I celebrated hip-hop was actually falling in love with where our hip-hop started, like Bokwaito and Mzambi. Yeah, those guys. Like, I just fell in love with the South African sound all over again.
Yeah, and last year as well, we unfortunately lost 2 hip-hop giants, right?
Yeah.
Now, which OG is currently holding it down for you in Mzansi?
Yeah.
Who's representing the game?
A few of them. I'd say shout out to Questa out here doing the right thing with the youngins. I'd say shout out to Reason. You know, he's also out here doing the right thing. Stogie T always giving a platform to youngins. I think a lot of the hip-hop guys have realized that community is what's going to take this genre forward. So the OGs are working with the middle guys, and the middle guys are working with the young guys. So yeah, I think we just all together. But the ones I mentioned, they've been consistent in being G. That's why they're the OGs.
Oh, okay. Don't spit the bars yet.
Sorry.
You know, speaking about community though, you recently worked with Oscar Mbo. How would you say this defined your sound?
Well, I think, I can't say it defined my sound, but it allowed me to express myself in ways that I haven't done in the public eye before. I'm a firm and avid lover of all sorts of music. It's not just hip-hop, you know, so being able to jump into studio and make something like Look Around with Oscar Mbo it was dope to see that the legends in the genre of house felt like, yo, Star, you got what it takes to give us your offering in the genre too. So I think it's just dope. I got to express myself differently, expand my arsenal, you know. That's pretty much what it was for me, yeah.
Are you sure that you weren't staring into Amapiano? I have to clarify.
Yeah, look, now I'm a hip-hop head through and through. You can't change it, you know. But at the same time, I will say, Bigstar could drop a gospel album. Bigstar could drop a jazz album. I'm a music fan, you know? And I think that's possibly one of the things that have worked to my detriment, being so versatile. But I'm sorry, it's who I am. It's not going to change.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your album, Caesar, right?
Yeah.
It's shifting culture.
It is.
How so?
Honesty. I feel like I came from a TV show, you know, where the game and the industry sort of set up for you, you know. And from what I've seen so far, man, like, we're a country that loves to dance, we love to express ourselves in so many fun ways, but it's been rare for me to hear people really deal with the real life issues in hip hop, you know. So for me, this album is a very honest album. It was an album that took the most out of me to create. I was going through the most mentally, but at the same time finding myself in real life. So I think it's just the honesty, the authenticity. A lot of people know Bigstar, but a lot of people are about to meet Dumelo.
Okay, and talking about honesty, your track with Stino Le Thwenny addresses gatekeeping in the industry.
Yeah.
What is it that you went through that led to this track?
Well, it addresses gatekeeping, but mostly it addresses the haters. You know, it addresses anybody out there who's trying to stop anybody from trying to do anything, you know. We're like, if you a hater, and but we might not just retaliate with how we would back in the day. Now we're gonna say, sharp finish.
Okay. Okay, keeping it safe. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. And what made you work with Stino Le Thwenny?
Oh, the duo boys, man. When I was finding myself, you know, and sort of getting back to who I am, they were the guys who had the freshest sound. I feel like they represented hip-hop confidently, but not just confidently in their mother tongue, not just in their mother tongue, in their cool, you know. So it was a very refreshing thing to see and hear at the time. And what was dope is that when I hit them up, the energy was you know, it just gelled and it was reciprocated. So for me, I picked the Do It Boys because they just keep doing it.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see. Now, who else do you feature on the album?
You know, like you said, Oscar Mbo, I've got Rouge on the album, I've got Touchline, I've got Younger Chief, I've got Reason, I've got a few. Like, I can't even think. Marcus Harvey, you know, the list is endless. Like, this album has so many different styles and flavors, you know, it's encompassing all that I am. And like I said, I'm all those things. I love gospel, I love jazz, so you're gonna catch a bit of African, some R&B, some house, some trap, some, you know, you're gonna catch the man.
It's sounding delicious. It's sounding eclectic. I love it. I can't wait to see what you guys are about to do on stage. So over to you, Bigstar Johnson.
Yeah.
Hey.
Mahona. Accept a fait to we la la. Yeah, Banomon. We have a bomb. Send us all. Shop for the show. Shop for the show. Shop for the show. Shop for the show. Accept my kids are we la la. We have a bomb. Yeah, Banomon. Yeah, send us all. Shop for the show. Shop for the show. Shop for the show. Shop for the show. Shop for the show.
If you bad, baby, drop it to the flow. Stino in the bag for you if you want some more. I'm not trying to brag, baby, man, killing y'all. 20 niggas in the bag, yeah, but 20 killing y'all. Like shop, fit it. I'm a bonga, yeah, giddy no, yeah, Shabakota. Pull up, Shabakota. I'm a laza, I'm a shorter. Wanna let's get the bottle. Grown man, I'm a daughter. 6 in the morning. Now here we go. For the Jada Pink. City door. Namakasi International. We in Mexico. Stop hating on the cheaters hit the lady go.
Accept my face to we la la. Yeah, Banomon. Yeah, Babon. Send us all. Shop for the show. Shop for the show. Shop for the show. Shop for the show. Accept my kids are we la la. Yeah, Babon. Yeah, Banomon. Yeah, send us all. Shop for the show. Shop for the show. Shop for the show. Shop for the show.
All them girls in here, in a row. With Mama down, in a row. Kwati vira la, ona hare soche. Dabadi mahlong da, zona hadi botse. Umam baby ketue. Gadi low, gadi low.
Don't give a damn about them Chevy leg.
Yeah,
let them look. See the book.
This is what it took, yeah. Where them haters at? We got them shook, got them on. We got them hugged, got them on. Let them boys cook.
It's a coupe, it's a Mercedes Benz.
Yeah.
I'm rude.
That's Bigstar, dog.
You know the roots.
Accept my fait to we la la. Banomon. Yeah, babon. Send us all.
Shop for the show, shop for the show, shop for the show, shop for the show. Except my pizza with a lie. Yeah, babon, yeah, banamo, yeah, says the song. Shop for the show, shop for the show, shop for the show, shop for the show, shop for the show.
If you already know now, you know right now in the house we got Bigstar Johnson, big homie season.
Shop for the show, shop for the show, shop for the, shop for the. Yeah. Yeah, Krello, balaba, yeah, Rebata outfits and majabaja, yeah, Rebata nice things to majabaja, yeah, I tell all my jitters that Bazon Tolada, smooth it, Bazon Tolada, smooth it, Bazon Tolada, yeah, who's it, a party ain't a party till I come around, yeah, beat some pussy, cheese girl, oh, they were Pamela, yeah, hey, Tauze, they do it, boys, stop, we just do it, drinking all night, out in the babalas, Benzes I got culo, they like I'm on hot, hey, Tauze, Barenza megang, Bafana Mansameka, yeah, man, who's it? Regile one down, ya Halebucha. Balaba, yeah, Rebata outfits and majabaja, yeah, Rebata nice things and majabaja. Tell all my niggas that Bazon Tolada, smooth it, Bazon Tolada, smooth it, Bazon Tolada, yeah, it's something like Palafa, yeah. See them broke boys, say Bazamaza, yeah. Green with envy like Mukhalaka. I understand good bakalanga. And to la little boy, keep a cat. Come on, top boy, you know man, let's walk fast. Hey, Tauze. Rebates is called Tosa Chakala. Yeah, Exengue. Come on, Katumela Chakaritana. What's a Kalisela Lady Kalaka? Come on, start the die who did know your Balaba. Balaba, yeah, Rebata outfits and majabaja, yeah, Rebata nice things to majabaja, yeah, I tell all my niggas that Bazon Tolada, smooth it, Bazon Tolada, smooth it, Bazon Tolada.
I hope you guys can hear the fun in the studio. That dope track, that was Stino Le Thwenny performing their unreleased single titled Machabachacha featuring Acid. The track doesn't even have a release date yet. We are pushing exclusive vibes on Trendz Live. Moving on to this story now. The beginning of the year is a perfect time to explore the outdoors and experience nature's changes, as well as to watch everything come to life. Trendz Live producer Asanda Zondi visited Kloofendal Nature Reserve in Roodepoort, west of Johannesburg, and she gives us some great ideas of things to do and to look out for if you are into nature.
An abundance of wildflowers has bloomed, covering the grass with the spectacle of different colors. And all of this beauty can only be seen and experienced on a wildflower walk. During the stroll, I realized that many people are fond of plants.
As a child, I've always liked plants and flowers. And then years ago, I did a field gardening course. It was it's a course, it's a 1-year part-time course, and it taught me to be a field gardener. So I learned about plants, about trees, and about flowers.
I read a book over the holidays about the wisdom of trees and the way trees communicate with each other and send medicines and nutrients to each other, and it made me think about learning to identify trees and plants as a way of engaging more. We all love nature and being outdoors, and it made me think, if I actually learn more about the specific plants and species, it'll help me to engage more as opposed to just walking by and thinking, oh, it's pretty.
I decided to come on this walk mainly because one of my colleagues that I work with, she knows a lot about vegetation, and when I go on field trips with her, I try and find out, I see pretty flowers or interesting plants. It would be useful for me to also just come and find out a bit for myself.
What exactly are wildflowers?
Wildflowers are flowers that are natural to our country. They belong here. They're South African. They're not alien, they're not from other countries, and our insects and animals utilize them. They eat them, or they nest in them if there's like trees. So our own plants are used by us, by South African animals, or different creatures.
I've been hearing a lot about alien and indigenous plants. What is the difference?
The alien plants come from other countries, and they've been brought in different ways, either for people's gardens. They think this is a nice plant, I planted in my garden. They don't realize that nothing here eats it, and it can spread, and it can take over our own plants in a big way, and it can also poison the soils, it can poison water that we have. So we have a big problem with those. Our animals don't utilize it, and it is invasive. It takes over our own plants. Whereas our own plants it's in balance. You get the plants, they produce their seeds, they grow elsewhere in the natural areas, and it's in a balance. You have biodiversity. Whereas your alien invasive plants are often they overtake our own plants, and they become like a big forest or a big and they just kill our own plants.
Before I got here, the only thing I knew of, the tulips, the roses, the potias, the daisies, the sunflowers. Take us through at least the top 5 white flowers that we saw here today.
The exciting ones to me were the epomeas, the morning glories, the natural indigenous ones, not the alien ones. Mm-hmm. And I'm just looking around, but as we saw, pantanicias, there was a little coffee flowers as well. We have all the exciting ones, they were the very small ones. The polygolas, they're tiny little things, and they've got a very interesting habit of adaptation, where the insects sit on them, and then the little the sepals, the little colourful parts of the flower, open and expose the pollen, to allow the insect to get the pollen on their little bodies, the bee, and then the bee goes to the next flower, and then the pollen comes off into the next flower, and it pollinates. It makes the next plant be able to make seeds.
Are all these wildflowers can they be consumed? Yeah.
Some of them can. I did show you the fever tea. Mm-hmm. That can be not really consumed. It can be used as medicine. Mm. Often these plants that have got a very strong smell that stops animals eating them. Okay, because the plants don't really want to be eaten.
So I know that people are familiar with hikes, marathons, walks, but a wildflower walk is something that I think is fairly new to many. Why should someone consider starting to explore this type of walk?
Just to create awareness of what biodiversity we have, and how everything in nature, the general nature walks we do, how everything in nature interacts.
I think it absolutely helps us to reconfigure and remember our place in the bigger universe, as opposed to our small little world.
We've got such a wonderful nature around us. Let's enjoy it, And another little word of advice: if you're ever feeling depressed or sad, look around you, whether the sky's blue or a beautiful flower in the garden or a pretty bird. Nature is there as a healer.
Don't touch that dial, because we have more awesome performances such as Kabomo lined up for you. See you after the break.
Genocidal act committed by Israel is the mass killing of Palestinians in Gaza, in violation of Article 2A of the Genocide Convention. As the UN Secretary General explained 5 weeks ago, the level of Israel's killing is so extensive that nowhere is safe in Gaza. As I stand before you today, 23,210 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli forces during the sustained attacks over the last 3 months. At least 70% of whom are believed to be women and children.
Get in touch with SABC News. Call us if you have any news leads, stories, tip-offs, or simply issues you are grappling with as a community. Call us on 011-714-6133. Alternatively, email us at news@sabc.co.za. SABC News, your voice, independent and impartial. South Africa. What's on your lips? What sort of issues keep you up at night? Do you feel your own life is no longer in your own hands? You need a place to ask for accountability. Part of our job is to give voice to your struggle, so that those who can make a difference hear you loud and clear. This nation needs critical thinkers such as yourselves, and we will come to you so that you can be heard. This is your place to ask and know. And I'll help you make sense of it all.
Just say where you're to lunch. Most of Kanda ngamache baby. Ulaga la kola shisama same. Uguveza ukanyage. Hey, just say where you're under baby. Galenzi putanya vumake. Yeah, ngeke ngipinde ngikolele wena baby ngiyavuma ke tulake sulinge mbele zakho ngiyavuma baby tula baby Tula babe, yes you saw la babe, see, Zagu Pala babe, go when I went up babe, go when I went dry, hey, what's the same, you nangala, oh, let your soon to same, yeah. To listen more, ya la do satane, sitandane, agate. What's the same way to la baby? Soling a messy Sunday, hey, Megan P. Dangilade. Gigonele, where now, baby? Tula, baby.
Oh wow, Kabomo Vilakazi is a multifaceted artist, award-winning musician and composer. His albums have won him awards and great acclaim as one of South Africa's greatest songwriters and musicians. Since he started in the music industry, Kabomo has had the pleasure of sharing stages with international artists like John Legend, Anthony Hamilton. The list goes on and on and on. And today he's with me in studio. How are you, Kabomo?
I'm well, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. You have such an interesting sound. How do you define your music?
I just think it's like soul music. It's honest music, and I've kind of like made so many different kinds of music and with different kind of musicians that it's kind of hard for me just to say I'm this particular kind of musician. Yes.
Yeah, but who do you make music for?
I think I make music for people who are willing to try out different things. I think South Africans are very open-minded. They're very wise. Just generally, South Africans musicians are very curious about music, and you can see from like the kind of music when you go to live shows that they react to. And I've learned that like South Africans are just like are one of the most beautiful audiences to play to because they're so open-minded and they're willing to listen to whatever music you bring to them, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We are very diversified in that way.
For sure.
Now, you've worked with many international artists. Who has helped you achieve this? I mean, that's massive.
I think just the doors that God opens and you can't attribute to anybody. I've just been blessed that my music has landed in ears of international artists, and they'll email, or if they're coming here, they'll say, hey, I heard your music, I'd love for you to open for me, or things like that, you know, or go in studio with them.
Yeah.
I can't attribute it to myself. I don't think I could say it's my talent or connections or whatever. I think just God is good enough to just open those doors for you.
Absolutely. Speaking about talent, when did you first discover it, and when did you realize your love for music?
I think I grew up in a home like of music lovers. Both my parents love music. I mean, they're not artists, but they really love music and exposed me to all kinds of amazing music, from Donny Hathaway to Brahu to Letambulu to, you know what I mean, to Miles Davis. So I've always loved music. I don't know when actually I switched from just seeing myself as a fan, and I've always been a fan, I'll always be a fan of music, to me thinking that I could try making it. I can't really remember that.
Yeah.
But I think what's more important is my just love for it and my being a fan of so many musicians.
Yeah, and what inspires your music?
I think just being in this country, both the light and the darkness of this country, the pain and the love and the beauty and the struggles, our people's tenacity, our people's faith in themselves in this country, and our people's ability to conquer and survive and strengthen themselves, and when we're down to be able to pick themselves up. I find South Africans to be very inspiring, and the people of this country really inspire me.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love that. I also find South Africans quite inspiring. Now, I'm sure you've faced some challenges in the industry, you know, or perhaps in your childhood that have made you the person that you are today. What are some of them?
Just like, you know, like this industry is not like other industries. Like there's an inconsistency, like with opportunities sometimes. At one point, like you're totally in demand, the next moment you're not, then you're in demand again. So the silent moments are hard, and you need to sort of like keep reminding yourself that God put you in the position that you are in the moments when you're down, to find that voice in yourself again. I find that most of the time you need to be your own source of inspiration, to affirm yourself, to always continually remind yourself, to have faith in yourself. So I think just the down moments sometimes, you know, like most of us during COVID had to learn to find other ways to survive, to be open-minded, and to open your spirit up to other opportunities, you know?
Yeah. I love that answer, because my question was actually going to be, where do you get your inspiration from? And I love your response being that sometimes you just have to get it up from within.
Yourself.
Within.
Yeah.
You know?
Your voice has to be your first source of information. Like if you depend too much on people to do that for you, you're going to find yourself being disappointed. And then not to say that you shouldn't have people. I'm lucky to have great family support and friends and a great team for my career, but I know that I can't depend on them for emotional support or spiritual support. That has to be something that I find within myself.
I love that. Now, how would you say that collaborations and features have helped you grow as an artist?
Oh yeah, like I mean, today young artists collaborate differently because everybody has their own studio. So like they just send you vocals and you put them in a song. I come from an era where we used to insist of being in the same room together. Like if I'm going to collaborate with you on a song, you can't just record your part at home and send it to me. Like you have to be in the room, and I have to see your process, and I have to learn from your process and say, oh, you do this way. I usually do it this way, but I like the way you're doing it, and incorporate it into your own style. And collaboration just brings things out of you didn't even know you had within yourself. Like an artist brings a different perspective. When you hear a piece of music, you might want to approach it this way, and then somebody in the room say, oh, I like that, but I thought we could approach it this way. You're like, oh, that's so interesting. And that grows you as an artist. So I definitely think, and I'd encourage young artists that they should collaborate first of all. They shouldn't just want to work by themselves. And if they do, if they have an opportunity to be in the same room with other artists, they should do that.
Absolutely. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes.
Now, where, in terms of live performances, can we catch you?
You know, I don't perform as often as I used to, and I think it's aging and partly being lazy.
Thanks for the honesty.
I'm not out there as much as I used to. So yeah, like every now and then I'll put on a show at a theater, and if I do, I'll put up online. People can find me on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. But currently, I'm not planning any shows, and I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we can expect from you this year?
I'm acting a lot. I'm in a lot of movies. I'm in a lot of soapies and drama series. And that's pretty much what I've focused more on the last decade. More the acting and the writing and the directing and just making TV and film, which I'm very passionate about. And I love music, but that's what sustained me, the TV and film and acting, which I really love doing.
Thank you so much for joining us, Kabomo.
Thank you for having
all the
me.
Best.
Thank you.
You definitely are a very multi-talented person, and I can't wait to see what you have in store for us.
Thank you.
Kabomo is proof that South Africa is a hub of talent for the world, and it's so inspiring to see. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll be back next week, Friday at 8 p.m. Have a lovely weekend.